Now, let's prepare our hearts and minds for a time of meditation.
Breathe through me. Breathe through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, breathe through me. Breathe through me. Breathe through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, breathe through me and live through me. Live through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, live through me. Live through me. Live through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, live through me. And love through me. Love through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, love through me. Love through me. Love through me. Oh, blessed Spirit, love through me.
And we take that loving energy, that loving spirit, to draw ourselves into a space of sacred stillness where we can relax, let go of all that we came in with, all that is ours to do later. As God, as Spirit, calls us to simply breathe in these moments. So I invite you to leave your head and your thoughts and enter into your body, feeling yourself centered, softening, relaxing into spaciousness, into security. And allow your breath to find its own rhythm. And if you can't quite find that, I invite you to take a slow, deep, intentional breath and release. Feeling that warmth, that stillness enveloping you, feeling the silence and the peace that comes with the gift of slowing down. This morning, as we talk about the voice of creation, we come to this time with the question, what is speaking in me right now? what wants to be formed in me. And in that questioning, we don't automatically engage, answer, to answer for ourselves, to answer from the ego, but to be still, listening to that energy, that voice of creation that has beautiful things to tell and show and reveal in us and to us. So, over the course of the next few moments, I invite you to sink into peace, to sink into curiosity of what Spirit wants to share with you. And so we allow for that to happen in this beautiful, contemplative, loving space that we co-create called the silence. And so we enter into that space now in the silence. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the presence of God is, there is peace. And we know both of those to be true as they are one, as God is one. And we are one with God. Taking these messages as we've heard them today. And if you didn't receive anything, that's okay. We can take it into the next time of practice. But if you've received something today, I invite you to keep that in your heart and see how it unfolds. As we take a breath together again, we stay relaxed, but we begin to awaken to the area that is around us, the seat that is holding us. the sounds that surround us, bringing us back to this present moment. And we speak gratitude for revelation. We speak gratitude for the opportunity to slow down. We speak gratitude for this now moment as we reawaken and as we reemerge renewed. Thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is.
When I was in Sunday school, when I was a boy each week, on Sundays we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So mounting things become, not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate, hand me down, but I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Well, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate, hand me down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Thank you, David Trolley. I love that song. And good morning, beloveds, and happy Father's Day to everyone. Today, we're here to honor the fathers, the grandfathers, stepfathers, fur baby fathers, and I know there's more than just fur babies, but pet fathers, spiritual fathers, and chosen and adopted ones, and all of those who have encouraged us and protected us and mentored and have blessed us in both visible and invisible ways. And we also hold with tenderness those whom this day carries grief and absence and longing and disappointment and complexity. Because days like this stir something deep within us. They touch our memory and identity, an understanding of what it means to be protected and guided and called forward. Also, days like this can stir up our awareness of voice. Again, we know that the voice matters and words matter, especially in unity. We know that words really matter. The things spoken over us can stay with us for years. And so that invites us into a larger question this morning. If human voices can shape life, what is the voice that shapes life itself? What are the sacred impulses that gives shape to what hasn't yet been formed? What is it that calls possibility into expression? And so what speaks into the unmade places of life that says, yes, this belongs in the world? In the beginning of the Christian scriptures, in the book of Genesis, it's creation doesn't begin with a hammer. It begins with a voice. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. So creation begins with speaking and naming and declaring and calling something out of invisibility and into form. And I think that that matters because it tells us that creation isn't just physical labor. There is an aspect of that, but it is also direction and clarity and purpose and intention and blessing. It's a sacred act of saying yes to what is ready to emerge. And so just as Mother's Day, we talked about the womb of creation, that divine mothering presence that is nurturing and grounding and growing. Today, for Father's Day, we step into the voice of creation, that divine fathering presence. And when I say fathering presence, I'm not referring to the humanity, but Father as a sacred quality of presence, that aspect of the divine that speaks truth into being, that gives form to possibility, that calls forth identity and blesses what is becoming and says, this is who you are. Now rise into it. So if the womb of creation is that sacred space of becoming, I think the voice of creation is the sacred call that gives becoming direction, that wisdom that guides, the truth that names what is real. And it's the power that says yes to life. And if we're honest, we all know the power of voice. And many of us can still hear certain voices from our childhood. Sometimes we call those tapes that we are replaying. And some of those voices build us up and make room for us. They can say, I believe in you. You can do this. I'm proud of you. And some of those voices too wounded us or caused confusion, or they told us who we weren't before we even had a chance to discover who we are. And that's why the voice we listen to matters so much, because it helps to shape our identity and the possibility and what we believe we are allowing to become. So on the spiritual journey, it's about learning to distinguish between the voice of fear and shame and old conditioning and ego, to listen to that deeper voice of creation that speaks truth. And this divine voice does not shame us into life. It's important that we hear that and we know that. The divine voice does not shame us into life. Because sometimes religion has presented a voice of God as scolding, as condemning, or even perpetually disappointed. But the voice of creation is not one of humiliation. It is the voice of invitation. It is the voice that says to the darkness that light belongs here. It's the voice that looked at creation and called it good, that doesn't scream for a flower to open, but calls it forward to bloom. It says that you are more than fear, that you are more than finished, and that there is life yet in you. So begin again. That is that voice. And in unity, again, we understand that words are not just sounds, but they serve as messengers of consciousness. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, considered the father of Unity, taught us that the word is divine idea in expression. And he says that all words are formative, but not all words are creative. The creative word lays hold of spirit, substance, and power. So what that means is that the words that we speak and the words that we agree with inwardly matter, that we are always in some way participating in creation by what we say yes to. And some of us know exactly what that feels like, to live under the weight of old sentences that are limiting. You're too much, or you're not enough, or you'll never change. Those sentences create, but so do these. I am a child of God. I am whole. I am guided. Life is still unfolding through me. Do you feel the difference between those two? The voice of creation is always speaking life. And the question really comes down to, are we listening? A father was teaching his young daughter how to ride a bike, and at first she was terrified, and every time she wobbled on her bike, she'd put her feet down and reach for the ground and stop, and he kept encouraging her, and she was working through that fear, and finally he ran alongside her and kept saying one sentence over and over again: keep your eye where you want to go. Keep your eyes on where you want to go, not at the cracks in the pavement, not at the fear, not at the wobble, but where you want to go. And years later, she realized that was one of the most spiritual lessons she had ever received, because life is always trying to teach us where to place our attention. And so the voice of creation, again, does not ignore reality, but it also doesn't ask us to stare at the crack in the road either. It calls us to life. It calls us to move forward toward wholeness, toward what it is that's trying to emerge. And so I think many of us spend years trying to earn what spirit has already spoken. If we achieve it, if we become healed enough, perform enough, succeed, be perfect enough, The hope is that we become worthy of a blessing that has already been given. And we don't have to do that. We don't, as Brene Brown says, we don't have to hustle for our worthiness. That voice doesn't wait until we have it together. It speaks into unfinished life by saying, wait and see. It speaks into uncertainty that says we're still becoming. And in our weariness and grief, rest, but don't give up. And so here is we turn to the holy part of this message, which is the voice of creation is not merely speaking to us, it is speaking through us. That divine impulse that says, let there be, isn't separate from our lives. It's expressing as intuition and guidance, as clarity, as that quiet inner knowing that says, this matters, this is true. And not every inner voice is that voice of creation, of course. Some are anxiety in a really clever costume. Some are fear with a microphone or an old family system that is still making those announcements. So discernment matters. And then how do we recognize that voice? And I'm talking capital V voice, that voice of creation. How do we recognize that? Because usually it's not loud, but it is clear. You know, have you found that in times that you've been doing your spiritual practice that you are looking for that giant billboard, you are looking for that megaphone message that tells you, what do I need to do, that answers those questions? But that voice usually isn't that way. That voice doesn't flatter the ego. It doesn't cause panic. It doesn't humiliate. It carries the tone of truth. Even when it challenges us, it does not diminish us. So when we are asked to stretch, it doesn't abandon us, but it calls us forward in love. I want to thank Reverend Rich this morning for his prayer and for all of you who are holding me and have been holding me in prayer. I have really been struggling with the loss of Kella, who has been my constant, my companion, my kid. And so over the past few days, I've been trying to navigate what to do with my grief because it's heavy. And so I've been deep cleaning my apartment. I've felt guilt washing sheets and blankets and vacuuming because my head tells me I'm erasing her memory. Maybe you can relate, or if you've had a loved one who's passed and how challenging that can be. But I also have moments of stillness when I am able to breathe in between those emotional breakdowns, where that voice of creation tells me it's okay to not feel okay right now. Because ultimately you are okay. And I know that she is okay. So it's okay to be in pain and still move forward as slowly as you feel safe to go. And so I am creating choice by choice how I am experiencing this. And I'm learning to allow myself to feel exactly as I do. And if anyone else is going through any grief, I honor you, I see you, and know that that voice is guiding every step of the way. So whether this is a season of grief, of building, of beginning again, or reflecting, know that that voice of creation has not left you behind. Even if it can feel that way, you haven't been left behind. That voice is still speaking life through you. It's still blessing you. It is still shaping the world through your presence and through your love and wisdom, your courage, and your eyes. So, what I want to ask you to consider prayerfully is this question: what is the voice of creation saying in your life right now? What is it calling into form? Maybe it is speaking courage where you feel that you've been shrinking, or rest where you've been striving, or forgiveness where you've been hardening. Or maybe you've forgotten how to cope. Maybe that voice is simply saying to come back to yourself and to trust the next step, to stop arguing with your own becoming. That one. What is it that life is trying to say yes to through you? There comes a point in spiritual life where we stop only asking, what is God saying to me? And we say, what is God saying through me? That is a spiritual leap. You know, what blessing wants to be spoken? What encouraging truth or creative idea wants to emerge? Because that voice is not only cosmic, it is practical in us. And it sounds like it can sound like a truth that is finally spoken in a relationship, or an honest prayer, or a new story that we are willing to tell about our lives. We participate in creation every time we agree with life, every time we bless rather than curse, every time we build up rather than break down, every time we name possibility rather than defeat, and speak love and peace instead of fear and war. So, my beloveds, creation is still happening. That same exact voice that said, let there be light, still moves through the universe and through us. It is what guides us. That truth is what clarifies. And the power that gives shape to what is ready to emerge. So may we listen more deeply. And may we learn to recognize the voice that calls us before we perform, before we step out, and before we decide and act. May we trust that wisdom that speaks within us. And may we become people who speak life with creation, with words that bless and build and clarify and call forth. Because the voice of creation is not separate from us, but it's expressing as us. So go forth, my friends, and be the love and the light that you already are. And so it is.